Welcome to another episode of the 99 Seconds Career Podcast. My name is Jürgen Schmid. I am career mentor, consultant, teacher and speaker. Here, we will bring up all kinds of career aspects in a way you have maybe never heard before. I'd like you to have an awesome career. Therefore, I give you something money cannot buy, sharing experience and insight. All this every other week in 99 seconds. In our previous episode, we talked about what you can do as an invitee to not suffer from meetings. You have to take a decision. Either don't go, but if you go, actively engage. But there is more that can be done to stop the meeting madness, as the Harvard Business Review called it out. But this time, it involves the meeting organizer. Meetings are a symptom of bad organization. The fewer meetings, the better, to quote management consultant and author Peter Drucker. What would happen if organizations followed Drucker's advice? Here are some research findings. What happens when 40% or more meetings are actually cancelled? Reducing meetings by 40% led to a 71% increase in productivity, primarily because employees felt more empowered and independent. Satisfaction also increased by more than half as individuals took ownership of their to-do lists and held themselves accountable. By connecting with each other on one-on-one at their own pace and utilizing project management tools, cooperation improved and the risk of stress decreased by 57%, leading to better overall well-being. Additionally, the perception of being micromanaged decreased by 74%, resulting in higher levels of engagement and trust. Communication was 65% clearer and more effective, as misunderstandings were reduced through quick checks of previous online conversations or project outlines, leading to fewer instances of phrases like, "I thought you told me," or "I was under the impression." Not having the meeting might be better. But what if the meeting is indeed needed? Let's get into the 99 seconds right now to see how meetings can be organized to add value instead of wasting time. Running an effective meeting is more than sending out a notice to the required participants to gather at a particular time and place. They need structure, order, and ground rules. Without it, they can go on forever and not accomplish a thing. That is why Elon Musk thinks that life is too short to spend it in meetings. If something comes up, it's easy to jump into scheduling a meeting to handle it, but that's not always the best move and can be a waste of time for you and your participants. Before scheduling a meeting, take a moment to consider a few things. Have you thought it through? Do you need other people's opinion to move forward? Do you need to talk it out in real time? And is it necessary to meet in person? If your answer to any of those is no, don't set up a meeting. To determine if a meeting is truly necessary, ask yourself, what would be the outcome if we didn't have it? But if the meeting is indeed needed, here are some practical items. They will help you to guide the meeting process and ensure that it is productive, efficient, and achieves its objectives. Determine the purpose and goals of the meeting. Is it information sharing, gathering ideas, or decision making? The secret of a successful and time-efficient meeting is preparation. Remember, meetings have a productivity cost in terms of time away from other tasks. Before you take people away from their work, make sure your meeting has value to your company. Choose the right time and place. Pick a time and location that is convenient for all attendees and that provides a comfortable and conducive environment. Also, think about whether it is the top priority for everyone at the moment. Are there other deadlines that clash? Or is there a sense of urgency? Maybe it's better to hold off for some time so that everyone can finish up their current tasks. Invite the right people. Invite only those who are necessary for the meeting and who can contribute to achieving the meeting's goal. If the topic isn't important to someone's work, they won't be engaged. No need to invite them. a third of professionals find themselves unable to contribute to most of the meetings they attend, suggesting over-invitation is a major waste of time at work. Also keep in mind, inviting too many people likely will turn a potentially good into a bad meeting. Be clear about the role of each participant. When nobody knows what their role is, meetings can get all messed up fast and cause stress, especially when it involves tricky business stuff that affects different parts of the organization. And if nobody knows who is responsible for what, things can go wrong real quick in a time where being fast and flexible is super important. We'll talk about those roles in a second. Prepare an agenda. It's like a compass for the meeting. Create a clear and concise agenda that outlines the meeting's objectives, priority, sequence and timing of topics, and expected results. Are there any hot items on the agenda that might cause conflict? Is this meeting the right way to address those? Share the agenda and any necessary materials in advance with attendees so they can prepare and come ready to participate. Give them enough time to do so. Set the tone and establish ground rules and create a positive and respectful environment that encourages open communication and establish ground rules for the meeting. Start and end on time. It is important to start and end a meeting when you said you would. Stick to the plan and don't spend time recapping for latecomers. Try to wrap up on time and handle stuff like sharing reports or having smaller meetings for certain topics outside of the main meeting. This will help everyone make the most out of their time together. Encourage participation and collaboration. Ensure that all attendees have an opportunity to share their ideas and feedback. Help them to work together to achieve the meeting's objective. Manage conflicts or disagreements that arise during the meeting and help attendees work through them or suggest addressing them outside the meeting. And with an action plan, the next steps. If you have none, why was the meeting needed in the first place? Follow up. After the meeting, send a summary of the meeting's outcomes and any action items to all attendees and other stakeholders. So far so good, but which role will each participant play? Here is a suggestion which is used by consulting firm McKinsey and is based upon the Rusky model. It is their cheat sheet of responsibilities called DARE, D-A-R-E, decision makers, advisors, recommenders, and execution partners, plus one that you do not want in any meetings, decision makers. The people who get to call the shots are the only ones who vote and make the final decision based on what they think is best. If they can't decide, they need to work together and figure out how to move things forward, even if it means agreeing to disagree and going with the plan anyway. How can decisions be taken in principle? Decisions are the decisions maker's sole decision, which is kind of dictatorial. People can provide input and then the person can still make the decision. Or it is consensus. It is a great way to efficiently solve a problem. Advisors. They give their opinions and influence what decision is made. They have a big say in how the decision is framed and care a lot about the outcome, but they have no vote on the decision. Recommenders are in charge analyzing and exploring different options, weigh the pros and cons, and then suggest what to do to the advisors and the decision makers. They know how the decision will affect daily operations, but they don't have a say in the final decision. Usually it's better to have more people recommending what to do. Execution partners are the people who help make decisions happen by being deeply involved in the implementation process. It is important to have the right ones present when decisions are made, even if they don't have decision-making power. They can ask questions and spot problems that might cause issues later on. The number of execution partners doesn't depend on how important the decision is. These stakeholders are all important and should be informed even if they don't have the final say. Just because they can't vote doesn't mean they can't speak up. And here is the one role you never want in any meeting: T for tourists. Some of your co-workers will want to know what is going on and might even need to be involved later on. But if they are not part of the decision-making process, they shouldn't be in the meeting. You gotta be strict and keep them out. Instead, you can find other ways to update them, like sending memos or holding town halls after the decision has been made. To close off thinking about meetings and how to best organize them if they are really needed, here is a final quote from David M. Cote, the former chief executive of Honeywell. "Your job as a leader is to be right at the end of the meeting, not at the beginning of the meeting," he said. These were, in 99 seconds, some thoughts in regards of meeting organizers on all those meetings. Hope you enjoyed listening and will tune in for our next episode in 2 weeks. We will then talk about what some of us should consider doing. Don't be a good girl. In the meantime, should you have any remarks, please let me know and maybe leave me a comment. Simply go to www.99scp.com, SCP like Seconds Career Podcast. I would love to hear from you. Also, please do not forget to press follow. And if you see a bell or heart icon to be notified when new episodes are coming out, please press that too, so you will never miss a new one. This was another episode of the 99 Seconds Career Podcast. Thank you for listening and thinking along. I wish you success for the paths you're following or creating. My name is Jürgen Schmid, and until next time, be the difference, remain curious and shine.